Good morning, Malcolm Nance.
Good morning, Steffi. Your Wi-Fi is sketchy. I think they're already starting to jam my signal.
Oh yeah. Uh-oh.
Malcolm, I mean, wow. There was obviously a lot of suspicion about them doctoring this, Barr doctoring it, Mr. Captain Sharpie. But this is what he thinks we were supposed to apologize to him over? This transcript?
Yeah, I've just read this, and I've read it with my professional national security agency eye. I've done thousands upon thousands of transcripts. That was a really accurate transcript. I don't know who thought that it would be a very general transcript. That's almost what we call a rec edit. That's a direct recording edit. And I have to tell you, it is damning. I don't know why he thought this was going to get him
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Well,
That was my
because
thought
this is
too.
their defense right now is, oh, he didn't know what he was doing was wrong or corrupt. That's not a defense.
What does the
Well,
whistleblower complaint
Well,
say?
Yeah.
right out the bat, the first thing he talks about, he claims that the Ukrainians and a Ukrainian billionaire has the DNC's copy of their server, and that
God.
he's asking them to facilitate that to the attorney general, and then he starts insulting Bob Mueller.
So he's starting to.
You know-
So he's trying to run the 2016 election again while dirtying up the 2020 election in the same call. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it just goes to show that he is well aware of the corrupt intent of his call. Zelensky says, hey, we just want cooperation because, $400 million has just been suspended to them. And Trump, right off the bat, responds to that, good. Your prosecutor, Victor Shokin, who was corrupt and refused to investigate corruption, Trump calls him very good prosecutor. The only people that thought Victor Shokin was good were the corrupt Ukrainian billionaires and Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
And then he directs Giuliani to call Zelensky,
Yeah.
and Zelensky agrees.
Oh
Then
my
he
God.
goes, my favorite part of this, he talks about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. He just goes, Biden's son and Biden, as if Zelensky has been fully briefed as to who Biden's son is.
Yeah.
And he wants Attorney General Barr to cooperate in
God.
investigating them. And Zelensky agrees because, of course, he's got $400 million of weapons, especially the very, very good Javelin anti-tank missile, which they need against Russian forces, has been suspended. So Trump literally extorted this guy.
Yeah. Malcolm, okay, you had tweeted yesterday, as an NSA-trained expert in communications intelligence, I know an exact copy transcript notes can be twisted and misconstrued without the context and opinions of the whistleblower. As Michael Cohen said, Trump always gives non-specific mob boss threats. So obviously, as you're saying, you're surprised at what they released as if it were exculpatory. Let me ask, is there tape? Jill Weinbank said to us yesterday she would be afraid that the tape would already be, destroyed or manipulated. But
No, to be quite honest, there had to have been a person there who was a stenographer.
mhm.
I mean, I've seen some transcripts in my time. That is a highly accurate transcript. It
Wow.
was not like they missed a word. They got the details of every word in each sentence. If there's a recording, the Ukrainians have it. And it now, to be quite honest, it makes Zelensky look like he was bowing to Trump
Yeah.
for those weapons. He's going to be in trouble in his own country.
Wow.
And everyone knew that Victor Shokin, who was the attorney general or the chief investigator for Poroshenko, who was the pro-West prime minister, they were refusing to investigate any corruption in Ukraine after the pro-Moscow forces fell, including Paul Manafort. And the only reason we knew about Paul Manafort was because people had ripped apart the government offices and the pro-Moscow offices and had found the ledger of all the cash payments to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
This guy didn't want to do anything about that. Going after Victor Shokin was a unified Western government strategy to root out corruption from Ukraine and this new pro-West government. And let me tell you, now it looks like Zelensky is covering for that guy in order to appease Trump. And
Malcolm,
that's going to be bad all around.
yeah. What do you think is in the whistleblower complaint? I mean, this
Well,
transcript, no one was expecting to be accurate or, bad for. He was bragging about it all morning on Twitter. Like, oh, where do you see this? And I mean,
well, what's in the whistle? Oh, first off, I got to encourage everyone. Go to the Washington Post. Go read the transcript.
yeah,
That thing, it's literally an impeachment document.
yeah.
And he's in there going after Biden. Biden was, at least when he went after Victor Shokin, he was acting in the official capacity of the United States. It was known as a policy throughout all of the U.S. government. It was agreed upon by State Department, the National Security Council, the government of Germany, the government of France, all of our allies, that this guy was essentially covering for Ukrainian oligarchs, and that we as the United States don't do business with corrupt prosecutors.
This
they had to get him out.
Yeah, this is where all of it, ego, stupidity, incompetence, corruption has finally caught up with him, because I feel like his ego, first of all, you're right, he's trying to go back in and redo 2016 to get some, I'm going to get the DNC server. I'm going to, get Manafort. I'm going to pardon Manafort and get him exonerated. And also I'm going to make sure we, sink Joe Biden. I mean, it's so astounding.
Someone, you know what? I'm sorry, but someone in the Manafort camp, or some Ukrainian billionaire out there who he references in the first paragraph, he references Ukrainian billionaires, have worked through to Trump and convinced them that Ukraine is the key to breaking Mueller, getting Manafort off. These are the very people who were paying off Manafort.
Yeah.
And Zelensky is now going to be caught as he's not coming off as a comedian who became prime minister.
Yeah.
He's coming off as a guy who is a sycophant to Trump.
Yeah.
And but Trump, as you said, this is a cascade of stupid. That whole transcript is an indictment document, and the whistleblower saw it and was like, oh my God, the president of the United States is corrupt.
What else because obviously the reporting is the whistleblower is going directly to the intelligence committees this week. So what else do you think is in the whistleblower? I mean, because it's obviously been reported that it's more than this one call. I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Well, it's probably a full analysis. I mean, it's probably multiple factoids of intelligence that come together that show this entire discussion in context.
Yeah.
Probably not from the Trump side, might possibly be intelligence from the Ukrainian side, might be NATO supporting intelligence. I don't know. All I know is right now, if Trump thought this document was going to get him off the hook, he literally just indicted himself.
Yeah. And look at this, just in while we're talking, DOJ shot down Trump probe. The Justice Department nixed an investigation into a potential campaign finance violation by Trump and his call with the Ukraine. I feel like Bill Barr is going to go down in this too. Bill Barr is
Foxtrot.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Toobin on CNN said this morning that Bill Barr is a central figure in the Ukraine scandal and must recuse himself immediately.
No, he needs to be impeached.
Yeah.
Bill Barr is neck deep in this because we're going to find from the documents and whistleblowers that Barr probably has a giant task force ripping apart Biden and Hunter Biden right now in support of these agreements from Trump. Remember, this was back in August, right, or July.
How hilarious
Barr
that he might get him
already neck deep in this.
Yeah, that he might get himself impeached over this.
I love it.
And Biden's not and Biden may not even be the nominee if you're looking at the latest polls. I mean,
Warren's leading.
It's so ridiculous.
And this transcript doesn't even have the quid pro quo. We're still waiting for that shoe to drop.
Yep.
But you don't even need it.
He stopped the funds the day before this call.
Right. Right.
And it's just like, hey, I got a boatload of money in my hands. And he actually says towards the end, he says Ukraine is going to be economically great. It's going to be wonderful, right?
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
But but then he comes back and says that prosecutor was treated badly and was very fair. He was corrupt as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, the entirety of the Western world wanted him out because he was covering for Ukrainian billionaires, which to Trump means he's a friend.
Yeah.
By the way, as you said on AM Joy this weekend, if there is anything in the history of the United States that is impeachable, this is it. I want to read one more to you because I've been saying this, and Tony Schwartz, who wrote Art of the Deal, said, odds makers say Trump Republican senators won't vote to impeach Trump. I believe all bets are off. Most Republican senators privately hate him and his power over them. If they believe that by banding together they can push him out, I think there's a very reasonable chance they will.
Yes.
I mean,
I don't think they will. Not running into the election. But you know what? That was an easy call I made on AM Joy last week.
Yeah.
And that was general. Now that I've seen the transcript, this guy's toast. I mean, they can roll in not just this, they can roll in the entire Mueller probe now because Trump, it appears,
Oh.
was trying to get the DNC server and it was attacking CrowdStrike and them and saying your billionaires have it.
Boy, your
Insane.
trilogy of your plot to destroy democracy, plot to hack America is even you didn't
Plot
see
to
this
betray
ending.
America's coming in 4 weeks.
Yeah, but even you didn't see this ending coming, did you? I mean, how extraordinary is it that he did the same thing again that he did with Russia? I mean, except with the power of the presidency and taxpayer money on a White House phone. I mean,
I know. Well, first off, he's already set me up for the second edition of Plot to Betray America because I got to add all this stuff. I stopped writing in June thinking, okay, we've got him. This is them compromising national security. Little did I know that he would just do straight up mob boss extortion, and I would have to add yet another chapter to this book.
yeah. And by the way, in all of this news, I hadn't heard this anywhere. But you tweeted about it. Hasn't been covered. The FBI has arrested a member of the U.S. Army who was allegedly discussing plans to bomb a major U.S. news network, discussed traveling to Ukraine to fight with violent far-right group, and allegedly distributed info online on how to build bombs. He also mentioned Beto O'Rourke. I mean, just the latest Trump-inspired right-wing terrorist. And it's just, and that's not even that doesn't even make the news, right?
Yeah, and it should, because what he wanted to do was go to the Donbass, which is the pro-Moscow region of Ukraine, and fight with Russian and Ukrainian Russian special forces against the guy that Trump was talking to on the telephone, Zelensky, the legitimate government of Ukraine. This, by the way, and I've mentioned this several times, many of these right-wing extremists, they love Moscow. They love Moscow. Even Anders Behring Breivik, the guy who massacred all those children in Norway, there are reports that he went to Telenin. No, not Telenin. He went to one of the Kaliningrad, the Russian enclave, to go take shooting courses with these Russian militias. They're dangerous, and these people popping up in the U.S. Armed Forces is another danger. It's a fifth column that I hope U.S. intelligence is taking very seriously.
Absolutely. Malcolm, I gotta say, on another note, personal note, you lost your wife last week, and you have just been out there, as you said to us last week, unchained. You've been out there louder than ever, and God bless you. I thought, like, last week, worst week ever, right? We lost Suzanne Wong as well, and I mean, it is I swear to God, if I think your wife and Suzanne Wong made this happen. I think that's right. Yeah,
that should be. I'm going to give them that because first off, if you've ever been to Suzanne Wong's talent nights at her house, which were just the most amazing event I ever went to, in a space the size of a small living room. All of these artists who were not in the Hollywood scene, just singing and dancing, and she asked me to talk about politics. It was incredible. And you know what? She and Maurice are knocking down margaritas and having a good time and, laughing at the impeachment.
As someone said, she's not my Crasian anymore. She's my Crangel. So,
Crangel.
But as I tweeted and I said to you, I mean, seriously, a grateful nation thanks you and your wife because you were going through this personal battle. And I just thought, wow, to think that this week, this dam was finally going to break. Thank you for hanging in there and just sending love again, love and hugs.
Thank you all. I'll see you soon.
Okay. Honey. Bye-bye.